In the modern world, most of the developers are working from a remote location. And because of this remote work culture, there are so many challenges that companies are facing. First challenge is when an employee joins a company, then the process of onboarding takes some time. I'm talking about for the developers. So for the developers, the company has to give a laptop, and on that laptop there will be some kind of setup and configurations. And because the developer is at a remote location, so the delivery of that system will take some time. Once the laptop will be delivered, then there will be so many discussions with the IT team for the setup, for the installation, and for so many other things. On an average, it takes around 1 week in my experience. On the other hand, if we have existing employees that are already working at a remote location, and because of some reason, if the IT team needs to make some change in the system, for example, they need to increase the RAM or they need to change the SSD or something like that, then again it takes some time. So to avoid this kind of problem, there is one solution that companies are already following. It is virtual machine. What company can do? They can provide virtual machines to their developers, and the developer can directly work on those virtual machines. In this process, there will not be any kind of physical delivery of the assets from company to employee. But again, there are a couple of challenges that developers face while working on virtual machine. First is every single developer has to set up their own virtual machine completely from scratch, and again that takes some time. So this process only avoids the physical delivery of the product, but you have to set up everything on your virtual machine. To avoid all these kind of problems, Microsoft has launched one new concept, which is Microsoft DevBox. Microsoft DevBox provides a complete management for developer system. This Microsoft DevBox is an Azure based service, and by using this service we can create very powerful and pre-configured laptops for the developers. Even in this process, a developer can create multiple instances of a system, and based on the project and based on the requirement, he can switch very easily and he can start the work in no time. In this video, I'm going to talk about so many things about Microsoft DevBox. How can we configure them? What is the use case? And how a developer can use and work on a particular system. To work on the Microsoft DevBox, we need to open the browser and we need to log into the Azure portal. Let's see how it works. So this is my system, and here I'm going to use the portal.azure.com. This is the Azure portal, and on this Azure portal we need to create a couple of resources to work with the Microsoft DevBox. Let's create all of them one by one, and during the creation we will also learn so many things about all these resources. So first I'm going to create a new resource group because there will be so many things and I want to put all of them in one single resource. So let's click on this create button. And over here, first you have to choose the subscription, then you have to choose the resource group. Let's put any meaningful name. Here I'm writing DevBox demo resource. So that's the name of my resource group. It is DevBox demo resource. And at this place, I need to choose the location or the region of this resource group. Here I'm choosing this South India, and let's click on this next and tags. You can put your tags over here. Let's click on this next button. And here validations are passed, so I can click on this create button. This is how we can create a resource group in Azure portal. Now we need to go back to this home and click on this create a resource. From this particular place I need to search for DevBox, and here you will see we have something dev centers. Let's click on this one. So from this resource, let's click on this create button. At this place, I am going to create a new dev center. We will talk about this dev center in more details just after creating it. So first, again, I have to choose the subscription, then the resource group. So I have created one DevBox demo resource. Let's choose this one, and here I need to provide a name. So this dev center is basically kind of system that will contain all the dev boxes, all your projects, everything will be under this dev center. So one organization can create one single dev center. They can also create multiple dev centers. For small companies, they can create single dev center, and in that dev center they can create multiple projects and they can work on that. But if we talk about some large organizations, then they have so many clients, and in that process they can create different dev centers for each client, because for one single client there will be multiple projects and they can set up all their projects in their own dev center. So here I'm going to create first dev center, and let's give it a meaningful name. Here I'm writing dev center name demo. This is just the name of this dev center. You can give any meaningful name as per your need. Then I have to choose a location. Let's search, do we have India over here? No, we don't have India. So we have Asia Pacific things over here. We can choose any one of the location from this particular drop down. Let's click on this East US. Let's click on this review plus create. This deployment will take a couple of minutes. Now at this place you can see we are having this dev center ready, and I'm inside this overview tab. If you will scroll down a little bit, then you will see there are couple of configurations. First is this define project. Second is this define dev boxes. Under this particular tab you can create a project. Over here you can define the definition of your dev boxes. It is basically a kind of configuration of the system that we are going to create. How many gigabytes of RAM will be there, what will be the SSD over there, all those things we can choose from this dev boxes. Then we have configure networks. We have to configure some networks as well over here. Then there are some environment types as well. For example, it is for development, for QA, staging or production, that we can define over here. Then we have some configure catalogs as well. And in this catalog, we can define the repository as well. Then we have the identities, and because of this identity, we will give access to our users. So first, let's create all of them one by one. So here, first of all, I want to work on this dev box. This is definition of the dev box. Let's click on this dev box definitions. Here we need to create one definition either by clicking on this button, or we can also click on this create button. Let's use a meaningful name over here. Here I'm writing dev box 1, or just for the identification I'm writing dev box definition 1. So what is the image? Here you can choose any one of the images from this system. Here you can see it is Visual Studio 2022 on Windows 11 Enterprise plus Microsoft 365. So basically, if you will choose this image, then there will be Visual Studio already installed on that particular system, and the Windows will be 11 Enterprise, and there will be Microsoft 365 apps as well. So you can choose any one of them based on your need. Let's click on this see all image. And because we are doing it just for the demo, so we can choose any one of them. Let's say I'm choosing this one, Visual Studio 2022 Pro on Windows 11. Let's click on this select button. What is the version of this image? Let's use the latest one. And then the compute. So basically, what is the configuration of RAM that you need? We can click on this 32 GB RAM over here. And what is the storage? The storage is, let's say it is 256 GB. Click on this create button. Let's quickly create one more dev box definition. Click on this create button. And here I'm writing dev box definition 2, and this time I will use a different image which is going to be on this Visual Studio 2019. Let's use this one. Image version is going to be latest compute. Let's go with this 32 GB RAM, and this storage 256 GB is enough. Let's click on this create button. Now you can see we are having two dev box definitions. Now let's go back to the dev center. Now from this particular place, we need to create some projects as well. So if I click on this create button, we can create a project. I can also go to the left hand menu, and I can click on this project tab, and again I can click on this create tab just to create a new project. So here I have to choose the subscription again. Then this is the resource group, and let's choose the one that we have created for this demo. This is the DevBox demo resource. I need to choose a dev center. I have created only one dev center in this portal, so that is why I'm having this name. And let's give it a meaningful name. So I'm writing DevBox project demo 1. You can also add some description as well over here. Let's click on this review plus create button. So again, the deployment of this project will take a couple of minutes. Until it is done, let's go back to the dev center. And here we need to configure some networks. But before configuring these networks, we need to create the virtual network and the network connection. So here we need to search for virtual networks. Here it is. Let's click on this one. And from this page, I need to create one new virtual network. Let's click on this one. And again, this is the subscription. This is the resource group. I want to put everything under this demo resource. Let's give a meaningful name to our virtual network. So let's say it is DevBox VNet demo, and you can choose a region from this drop down, and let's click on this review plus create button. Again, we can click on this create button, and this will take a couple of minutes, and it will create a virtual network for us. The deployment is done. Now let's go back to the home page and search for network connections. We already have it here in the suggestions, or we can also search for this network connection. here it is. Click on this first service and let's create a new one. Here I have to choose the resource group. Again, I'm using this DevBox demo resource, and let's put a meaningful name, which is DevBox demo network connection. Let's choose a virtual network from this list. So here it is, DevBox VNet demo. Let's choose this one. And here is the subnet. Let's keep the default value over here and click on this review plus create. Click on this create button again. And again, the deployment is working. It will take again a couple of minutes. And once it will be done, then we can configure our network for the dev center. It is done. Again, let's go back to the home page and let's go inside that dev center. So here it is. Now this time I can click on this configure networks button. Let's click on this add network connections. And let's click on this add network connection. Let's choose one of them. Here you can see we already have one, which is DevBox demo network connection. And let's click on this add button. So far in this process, we have created one dev center, we have created project, and we have also created the DevBox definition. In the meantime, we have also created a virtual network and network connection. Now it is time to go inside the project and we need to set up some dev pools. Let's click on this project tab. Here we are. Let's go inside this particular project. Now here you can see we are having some DevBox pools. Let's click on this one. Now here in this DevBox pool, we can create multiple kind of copies or images that a developer will get. So let's click on this create button. We can give any meaningful name. So let's say it is dev pool demo 1. And let's choose definition. We have already created two definitions, so let's choose any one of them. So first I'm choosing the first network connection, and here I can choose if I want to give the admin right or not. So this is the local administrator and this is the standard user, and we have one more feature which is auto stop. Enable auto stop. If you want to enable the auto stop, then you can choose the time over here. So it will stop at 7 p.m. and this will be the time zone. But because this is just a demo, so let's click on this no, and let's click on this licensing button and click on this create button. In the meantime, I also want to create one more dev pool. So here in this demo one, I have used this DevBox definition 1. Now in the second one, I will use the second one. So let's use DevBox pool demo 2, and let's use the second definition, which is this one, and let's use the network connection, this one. Again, no, confirm, and let's just create it. So the basic setup of dev center is done. Now we need to work with the developers, and to work with the developers, we need the data in the Azure Active Directory. So here on this new tab, let's search for this Azure Active Directory, and if I click over here on the users tab, then you will see I'm having some very basic users over here. I'm having only 3 users. So let's go back to the project, and over here I have to click on this access control. Let's click on this one, and at this place we need to define couple of roles to the users. So let's click on this add and click on this add role assignment. So by clicking on this role, you will see I can choose a role, and this is the role for the developers, dev center DevBox user. Let's click on this one. You can give this dev center DevBox user role to a particular developer. This dev center project admin, you can give it to a kind of technical lead person. So here let's use this one and click on this next button. Now I have to choose a member. Let's click on this select member. So this will directly open the list of users that we have in the Azure Active Directory. So from this place, I want to use this developer. This is the one that I have created for the demo purpose. Let's click on this select button. See, we have that this developer user over here. And again, let's click on this review plus assign. So what we are doing over here is we are providing a role to a specific user in this process. Now the basic setup is done. Now here comes the developer. So what developer has to do? The developer will come, he will open the browser in his system, and he need to log in on a website which is devbox.microsoft.com. So let's open the private window of this browser. And here I want to search for devbox.microsoft.com. The developer has to log in by using his credentials. So let's click on this sign in button. So here I'm using this devbox.microsoft.com URL, and this is the screen that I'm having over here. Here you can see no devbox is created for us. To create a new devbox, we can click, or the developer can click on this new devbox button like this, and here he has to enter a name for the system. For example, here I'm writing my PC, and from this particular place we have to choose the project. Because we have only one project as of now in this system, so we are having this one over here. But if you are having multiple projects, then you will get a drop down to choose from that particular option. Here again we have to choose the devbox pool, and this is the same pool that we have created under this project. We can choose any one of them. So for example, if I'm choosing this one, and let's click on this create button. So this process will take couple of minutes. It might take around 30 to 90 minutes as well. The developer can create n number of images over here by clicking on this option like this, my second PC, and again choose it, click on this create button. You will see we are having two options over here. So once this process will be completed, then there will be an option to connect to this particular PC, and there are two ways. The first option is by using the RDP, which we have the remote desktop option in our system, in the Windows system. Second is we can also open it in the browser as well. So once this particular part will be created, then over here there will be two options. You can choose any one of them, and this is how you can manage your entire work only on the cloud. There is one more very important concept over here, and the concept is that the IT team can manage all these systems by using the Intune Microsoft portal. So if you will open the intune.microsoft.com, then the IT team can access all these systems and they can manage everything from that particular portal. Ultimately, we have to work on virtual machines, but this Microsoft DevBox provides a complete management of all those virtual machines. Please share your feedback in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.